Hello. Oh, hello there. Howdy.
Hello there. Have a good one.
Hello.
Good day to you.
Attention, attention. Please handle relics carefully. In case of damage, your life will be forfeit.
Good day to you.
Hi there.
Remember, our honest work will make the world a better place. World a better place.
Salutations. Glad to meet you.
Oh, good day.
Remember, our honest work will make the world a better
See ya.
Come on, don't be shy.
Good day to you. It was nice chatting.
Don't be shy.
Hello.
Oh, what do you want?
Attention, attention. Please handle relics carefully. In case of damage, your life will be forfeit. Remember, our honest work will make the world a better place. World a better place.
Karma stops typing and pushes back from the table. She looks at you in silent anticipation. The White winces, but her reaction is no stronger than annoyance.
Jasper Greenberg is dead too. That's bad. He was a promising employee. Were you able to download the driver?
Karma spreads her arms as if to say, if that's the case, what do you want from me?
You should be able to act without explanations. That is not a question, though. Take the floppy disk to Russo. I'm sure she will be glad.
You step back from the desk, but the White grabs you by the wrist, like she did when you first met.
What's your game? A nobody from the Voice becomes the future of the project. Why do they trust you? I must know.
Karma carefully articulates every word as she squeezes your arm in her freezing grip. Ishtwani purses her lips.
You could have cooperated, but prefer to show distrust. Well, I will remember this and come to my own conclusions.
She finally releases your arm.
Go away. I am busy and should be working.
Russo is comparing the readings with the data in her notebook.
Any news? We need to prepare this thing for the new trials as soon as possible.
Henrietta takes the container and holds it up to the light.
Audrey Melville. What's she like, I wonder? Is she folksy? Or does she play the tough leader? Or perhaps she's been forced into the leadership role but doesn't understand what's happening. I am simply thinking out loud. Please don't answer. I got lost in my thoughts.
Russo carefully takes the device from your hands.
Fops, you say? I see. They somehow sense the radiation of any active relic. Psychos. What do you expect?
Henrietta nods curtly.
Yes, I see. The current from the reactor is now powering the emulator systems as it should.
The White sets the device on the table.
Here's something funny. I gave the latest version of these to our engineers. They took it apart and told me the technology can't be replicated at this point. The circuit board customizations are completely foreign to them. We have no idea what makes them tick. That means we'll need to perform our sun dance for the abbot. Round and round.
She adds. Henrietta throws up her hands.
So what's the news? Yes, Nakamura's obsessed with control, but she's not hiding it. I am much more interested in what you have in mind for this.
Russo regards you respectfully.
You have balls the size of coconuts. But still, try not to taunt Kimiko too hard. She's vindictive.
Russo examines the burnt fuse carefully.
I agree. This is definitely no accident. I thought Weyers was nothing but a pathetic drunk. But it turns out he's some kind of éminence grise. Or more precisely, éminence bleue. In all senses.
Henrietta drops the component in her pocket.
We don't have time for a good old-fashioned witch hunt. Do you mind if we keep this trump card up our sleeve for the time being? Eh bien, we will deal with Weyers as soon as we launch the emulator.
Russo looks at the floppy disks for a long time.
I heard about what happened in the camp. Not the details, but still. Young, gifted folk dying for a common cause. Only this isn't fucking inspiring, but horrifying.
Henrietta chews on the end of her pencil.
I'll need to check everything 1,000 times or so to ensure we don't fry your brains with the emulator. Although considering your unique abilities, I'm certain everything will be all right.
She looks down at the teleglasses lying on the table. Henrietta gestures broadly at the emulator platform, just as she did during your first conversation.
Maelstrom's radiation didn't eradicate your mind. I suspect you're able to not only enter the space of the emulator, but also navigate it, and even come into contact with the observed phenomena. And if so, who knows? Perhaps you can influence Maelstrom itself.
Russo blows you a mock kiss.
Everything will be ready in a couple of days, so don't be late, baby. And seriously, thank you again.
Hi there. Glad to meet you.
Good day. Hi,
Oh, hello there.
glad to meet you.
Henrietta jumps up from her seat.
Where have you been? I even sent you a message. 4 test runs have been completed under normal conditions. We can get started.
Following the direction of your gaze, Russo nods.
Yeah? Today they're blue. That means I'm full of hope for the experiment to succeed.
Russo presses a button on the console.
The doors to the emulator are unlocked. You can go down. I'll start the machine as soon as you get to the launch pad and put on the glasses Abbott gave you. If you feel your life is in danger, halt the session immediately. Good luck.
The closer you get to the spinning rotor of the emulator, the stronger the vibration. It's not simply mechanical motion, but something quite different. Invisible but tangible waves of energy are flowing over and through you. The projectors light up above the site, and Russo's voice booms from the speakers.
Get ready for emulator launch. Counting down now. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Her voice explodes in your ears. The world flashes once with an unbearably bright light and drowns. Things happening. Your next footstep falls in a roar of absolute silence. All sense of space and time vanishes, and you find yourself at an indefinable point in a vast white nothing. There's nothing around you but a fathomless sea of white light. But you don't need to see Maelstrom to know it is nearby. Its quick, intense rhythm reminds you of the feverish beating of a huge heart. The pulsing grows even faster as you touch it in your thoughts. All this space without form or boundaries suddenly unfolds towards you, like a giant plane. Like a locator, a dashboard with dozens of buttons ready to launch the exact program you specify. Maelstrom reacts almost instantly. A sharp burst of energy builds like an avalanche, and you're overwhelmed by a blurry, chaotic wave that just as quickly ebbs again. Normal space and time return all at once, and you, suffocating, struggle in the emptiness, falling to your knees. The white light snaps out. You're back in the main hall of the emulator. Henrietta freezes, phone receiver in hand. Her face is lit up with an expression of pure triumph.
They're calling from everywhere, saying that Maelstrom is moving. I don't want to assume anything, but if it really is retreating to the center, then trade routes will be restored soon. Carmine Heights and Phalanx headquarters will no longer be isolated.
Russo hangs up the receiver and hugs you tight.
I can't believe we made it. If we were in a movie, I'd look deep into your eyes. But since our relationship is strictly platonic...
The phone on the table breaks out with a jarring ring. Henrietta picks up the receiver.
Project Emulator, Director Russo speaking. Madam Chairman? Yes, they're here.
Russo holds out the receiver.
Nakamura!
She exclaims in a dramatic whisper.
I'm glad to meet you, even if it's long distance.
The cold, melodic voice answers you. Nakamura pauses and you hear the subtle click of a button through the receiver.
On behalf of the new committee and its official citizen and other inhabitants, I thank you for your conscientious assistance. I'll be waiting for you at the council building in the city. Please be present for the upcoming meeting.
Now her voice sounds different. She must have switched to speaker mode. The chairwoman ignores this. As soon as you finish, she continues to speak.
Your service has caught the attention of some who erroneously believe they wield real power. They'll approach you with proposals, which might even seem tempting at first glance. Don't agree to anything, and don't make any deals until we have the chance to speak. I look forward to our next meeting. Best of luck to you.
A dial tone sounds from the receiver. Henrietta elegantly shifts her gaze from the phone to you.
Welcome to big-time politics, eh? Don't get your hopes up. Nakamura isn't a very nice person, but I personally prefer not nice Nakamura over nice dilly-dallies. I don't know what she told you, but you do not want to mess with her.
In the heat of the moment, Russo gives you a peck on the cheek.
Damn, I still can't believe we put it off. You're one smart cookie. Go have a drink. You deserve it. I'll write a message to the Treasury. Those guys owe you a solid bonus.
Henrietta proudly raps herself on the chest with her small fist.
Nobody will argue with that. But don't waste your time talking me up. Go rest. I'll start on deciphering the telemetry.
Hi there.
Attention.
Glad to meet you. Oh, hello there. Glad to meet you.
Good day to you.
Glad to meet you.
Hi there.
The small, delicate woman turns to you from the picture window where she's standing. Kimiko Nakamura. She's barely changed from your last meeting in the Maelstrom psychic space. Nakamura scrutinizes you.
It is indeed you. I might have doubted it when you were on the other side of the camera feed, but now...
Kimiko points to an unoccupied chair.
Sit down, please. Or introduce yourself to the others if there's anyone you don't know. The new committee is the legitimate successor of the Kronos Foundation. We control the major part of the dome, maintain order, and are making efforts to get life here back on track. Not everyone agrees with our message, thus we need stricter laws.
She falls quiet and studies you, as if guessing at the effect of her words. Ishtwani notices you.
You. I still don't understand why Henrietta trusts you. Am I the only one who finds it odd they've given you so much authority?
Karma looks lost. She looks like she wants a computer to hide behind. The white narrows her eyes.
A pointless question. Information about the Republic is publicly accessible. Are you saying you neglected to review said information before coming here? How are you supposed to participate in the meeting? That's just irresponsible.
She replies with obvious effort.
Carmine Heights was founded by people who disagreed with the committee's policies. It's a democratic republic with a parliamentary government. In fact, it's a community of engineers, programmers, and scientists. We have our share of disagreements, but our form of government lets us settle them effectively.
Santiago grabs your shoulders.
Ah, we meet again. My favorite parishioner. I'm joking, of course. I love all of my flock equally. Glad to see you here.
The Reverend's smile widens.
I've said it many times, and I'll say it again. The church is its people. We're a big family, and the bigger the family, the stronger we are. See it as an invitation. I want you to join us. You won't be disappointed, I promise.
Don Spencer nods in a dignified way, clenching his cigar in his teeth.
Hi. You're not some simple committee lackey.
His expression remains indifferent, though his gaze reveals a glimpse of interest. The ambassador chews his cigar and gazes at you through the smoke.
We're soldiers, entrepreneurs. Our commanding officer is Mr. Hieronymus Zemeckis. If you happen to visit our base, see him and pay your respects.
Nakamura stands at the head of the table, leaning with her knuckles on the tabletop, and looks the office over. Once everyone is quietly seated, she nods her satisfaction.
Let's begin.
Nakamura is the first to take the floor.
Thank you for coming, everyone. You already know why we're here. Congratulations! The emulator project developed and launched by new committee researchers have yielded fruit and dramatically changed the Maelstrom situation.
Ishtwani taps the table with one fingernail.
You're intentionally distorting the facts. It's true the project was developed by the new committee, but it would never have launched without Carmine Heights.
The chairwoman reluctantly nods.
Perhaps. But you must agree that both our cooperation and the project's success were made possible by the new committee's oversight and control of the process.
Controlling things is right up your alley. That you can do.
Audrey Melville replies mockingly. Kimiko continues.
You may disagree with the new committee's role in these matters, but our system for selecting test subjects did lead us to the individual, whose unique peculiarities allowed us to make the emulator a truly functioning system.
Nakamura points at you.
Let me introduce our employee.
Everyone's heads swivel in your direction. Reverend Santiago rises from his seat.
Amen. Everything for the sake of the people. I always say that people are our treasure. Sorry, please continue.
The chairwoman raises a hand.
Let's proceed. Maelstrom has shrunk and retreated to the center of the dome. It is, however, too early to claim victory, so the emulator project will advance to Phase 2. Its purpose is to obtain complete control over Maelstrom and understand whether the entity can either be switched off or somehow used to our advantage.
Nakamura looks around the room until her gaze rests on you.
Each and every one of you, including this employee, is here because you are still useful to this project.
Reverend Santiago rises from his chair.
Brothers and sisters, I see nothing wrong with people being useful to one another. Though it sounds as if Madam Chairwoman wants to use that employee's talent to her own advantage. Please excuse me for being so blunt. And take no offense, I didn't mean anything bad by it.
Nakamura's bionic eye twitches, its diaphragm contracting with a soft rattle. Kimiko raises her hand again, indicating she's ready to speak.
A good point. I understand the importance of maintaining parity. I also understand that any of us could manipulate the project's needs in their party's favor. I cannot prevent this. Therefore, every party has a right to benefit from this employee's help.
Nakamura looks at you expectantly.
I'm sorry, but you'll have to agree. It's for the good of the project.
The chairwoman's expression grows skeptical.
Not the most constructive answer. However, it in no way contradicts my guarantee. They still have the right to your assistance.
Kimiko looks around the room once again.
I believe we're in agreement about future cooperation. This next question I wish to address to each party separately.
Nakamura looks at Dawn.
Spencer.
Aye.
He says curtly, puffing on his cigar.
The picnic agrees.
Audrey interjects cheerfully.
Santiago.
The chairwoman nods at the churchman. The Reverend rests a hand on his chest, smiling.
Would I throw a wrench in our alliance? I hope my eye will help save all mankind under the dome.
Karma thrums on the table with her fingernails.
You left me for last, I see. On behalf of Carmine Heights, I vote aye, as long as the treaty terms are not violated.
Nakamura rests her arms by her sides and performs a curt bow.
Then I thank you for your participation. This meeting is adjourned. And you, employee, please see Henrietta Russo for further instructions.
Nakamura turns away from the window.
I do hope you've come for a reason.
The chairwoman shrugs.
We've got to make sacrifices. Without improved surveillance and control over the population, the civilization will descend into anarchy. I guess you've solved the problem. How do you do it?
The diaphragm of Nakamura's bionic eye twitches slightly.
Thank you, especially for skipping the lecture on privacy rights.
The chairwoman looks at you with barely discernible displeasure.
Henrietta's your supervisor. Go ask her. Do your job and I'll do mine.
Russo is clutching a sheaf of papers in her hands. Looks like she started her calculations.
Hi. How was the council meeting? Come on, tell me.
Russo nods her understanding.
You are indeed the most important person in the project, so they have to keep you close. Anyway, there's something I want to discuss.
Russo waves a sheaf of paper in the air.
To make it short, I deciphered the telemetry and got some interesting results. Maelstrom has shrunk and reduced its activity, not because you made it do so. No. It's trying to protect itself. It actually moved out of the emulator's area of effect by reducing its own size. That doesn't mean we're safer at all. Probably the opposite.
Henrietta makes a strange gesture, as if turning a screwdriver.
Think of a coil spring. I can compress it, squeeze it down smaller, but the energy it contains increases. That's why we should move to the second phase. Are you listening to me? Or is there something else you want to discuss beforehand?
Russo slaps the papers on the table enthusiastically.
Great. Our first task is to force the connection to Maelstrom. Then it will have nowhere to escape, and we'll have total control.
Henrietta pulls a blurry picture of a device from a pile of papers.
This is a Maelstrom beacon. A research team from Carmine Heights has been working a long time on the problem of a direct link with Maelstrom. If they give us at least 3 of those devices, we'll be able to establish a true communication link between the emulator and Maelstrom.
She makes a broad circle of her arms.
Look, this is the dome. We'll place one beacon in Magellan's parking lot, another at the highest point, the viewpoint at Nashville. And the third one should be taken to a very specific point close to Maelstrom, to avoid signal overlap.
Russo stares up at the ceiling.
Things are quite complicated with the third beacon. First, the installation point will be flooded with maelstrom radiation. An unbearable level even for you. But you can endure it with a special implant you can get from the church. Second, we don't know how to get there. We no longer have up-to-date maps of the area. I'm afraid you'll have to interrogate a fop or two for directions.
She fingers the picture of the beacon thoughtfully.
Those things also wear out after contact with an anomaly. That's another problem you'll have to deal with.
Henrietta punches you lightly on the shoulder.
Brilliant, Einstein. We need 3 of them. So if you saw one in Picnic, look there first. As soon as the third beacon is installed, you'll return to the emulator and eliminate Maelstrom's radiation in the zones covered by the beacons. I need some additional equipment delivered to the third beacon. So, would you please procure a heavy-duty truck from the Phalanx and get Nakamura to fund the expedition? Only the new committee can afford these expenses. Phew, that's all. I am exhausted again.
Russo sits down and stretches out her legs, displaying bright orange socks. Henrietta stretches until her back pops.
Ask away.
Russo points at her communicator screen.
At the Phalanx camp. They have the kind of vehicles we need, and Zemeckis' men are the only ones who can do the maintenance. They've got a warehouse full of everything.
Henrietta draws an invisible line on her Kyra's screen.
The beacons are Johann Reisner's invention. He's from Carmine Heights. That's where you'll find them.
Russo looks at you apprehensively.
Am I missing something, or do you just not listen when I talk? You can get an implant in the church. Just don't let them give you a snow job.
Henrietta looks confused.
In the picnic neutral zone. It was your idea, wasn't it?
Russo pauses to study the map on her handheld.
I wish I knew. It should be around here, according to the calculations. But it seems like only the fops know how to get there.
Henrietta points her thumb at the door.
Then you go to Nakamura and request funds to build a camp. Don't ask why we have to save the world and beg for money all the time. That seems to be the fate of all scientists.
Ishtwani stops clicking her keyboard and raises her calm, cold gaze to you.
I have an offer for you. I'll explain my behavioral tactics in the council if you tell me why you are acting so arrogant during the meeting.
Karma is displeased.
Instead of building up trust, you're being evasive. That's a sign of deep psychological problems. But don't worry, we've got great specialists under the dome. There are 14 of them, according to my data.
The White looks you in the eyes. This simple gesture clearly requires effort on her part.
My behavior in the council was an attempt to balance the generally positive mood. I was adding some constructive criticism to make the discussion of your place in the project more productive.
Ishtwani disapprovingly looks away.
I'm trying to establish trust between us so we can work on the project together. You could try to be more accommodating.
Judging by the White's expression, she's seriously considering your words.
I realize that. But I can't take that first step and trust you. You can't take that first step and trust me either. Are we at an impasse then? Is there a natural way out of such situations?
Karma returns to her computer.
Looks like establishing trust between us isn't yet possible. Leave the room, please. I've got work to do, and your presence is distracting.
She gestures casually at the door.